To my guys and goddesses out there, thank you all for tuning in. For those of you who are returning guys and goddesses, thank you so much. Welcome back. For those of you who are visiting with us for the first time, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You have now entered the Lotus Room, and this is your safe space to emerge into the darkness of our murky waters in order to emerge, transcend, and bloom into your light. All right. I am Dr. Shantasia Simone Shorter, the manifestation of peace and blessings earned with every lesson learned. And what that simply means is, with every trial and tribulation I've experienced in my lifetime, it gave me lessons that helped me to earn the peace that surpasses all understanding. I'm also known as Zaya Amore, the lyrical dragon. I got them beats, y'all. Not them beats, but them bars. I got them bars. I got little vocals too. So I'm also known as Dr. T, the Woke Professor, who is the founder and CEO of the Carrie Mae Williams Center and the brainchild behind the Lotus Room. Okay. So today's focus is on the throat chakra. Okay. So the throat chakra is the fifth energy center located here, of course, at the throat area. In Kemetic terms, it is known as Sekehm. In Sanskrit terms, it is known as Vishudda. All right. Its colors are light blue, turquoise, and aqua. So if you look around you, you see I have my turquoise, aqua-ish kind of matte. I got my baby blue shirt to usher in those colors of the throat chakra and get into the whole concept of speaking our truth. The throat chakra's energy is concerned with speaking your truth freely, unapologetically, from a place of love, and it is also about bringing your ideas into reality, right? So of course, the Lotus Room is all about doing yoga from an African-centered practice, Kemetic Yoga, i.e. And so, of course, I have to give you some background information from the Kemetic principles behind the Lotus. I wanted to bring that to you today, and also give you some Kemetic deities that you can associate with the throat chakra so that you can connect your yoga practice to your African roots. All right, so let's begin with first talking about Muata and Tehuti. So Muata and Tehuti are the female and male principles of this concept of truth and law. Okay, so Muata is the feminine principle of truth, justice, morality, and she is represented by if you ever see the Egyptian images, she's the one that has her wings out. When you see her, sometimes her and Aset have images where they have their wings out, but she is associated with the ostrich feather, and this feather is used to weigh your heart on the scales, right? I think the scales represent truth, if I'm not mistaken. Muata, she just is. She's one of those deities that is not birthed from another deity. She just exists because she is the law, right? She is good morals. She is just the innate existence of what is right and what is wrong, right? Just universal law and those, she's basically the physical feminine depiction of universal law. Tehuti is the male principle who took Muata's law and put it into physical words, right? Which actually made it law. He's associated with logic. He's associated with magic. He's associated with the moon. And like I stated, he wrote down all of Muata's laws. So they work hand in hand together to bring forth the power of the throat chakra by articulating what is in our mind, our hearts, and our spirits through our voice. All right, our voice carries magnetic vibrations, electric vibrations that help to form the world around us. So what we think in our mind really does become our physical reality, especially when we use our words to manifest it, right? So the words that we use on the daily basis kind of seal the deal on our reality, because if it is what you think and it is what you speak, then that is what you're focused on. Therefore, that is what you're going to attract to you and manifest in the environment around you. Ooh, yeah! Spirit just speaking through me right now. Ooh, thank you, Spirit. Thank you. All right. So I have really been trying to get into my gratitude these days and making sure that whenever something amazing is happening and I feel spirit flowing through me or just blessing me in some way, I have to stop and be like, thank you, Spirit. You ain't have to do it, but you did. So, okay. Back to it. All right. So we have gotten through our explanation of Muata and Tehuti, and now I want to give you a background on the Kemetic history of the lotus and why I chose that name for this show. All right, so it says, I'm reading from the Egyptian Yoga Volume 1 by Muata Ashby. It is the philosophy of enlightenment. So I'm reading from the philosophy section of this yoga textbook, and it states on page 109, in Kemet, or Egypt, the symbol of the lotus encompassed the idea of coming forth into the light. Wink, wink. As the lotus retreats into the waters at dusk and emerges with the light of day, so too the human spirit blossoms as it emerges from the darkness of ignorance about the nature of its true self into the light of wisdom. The Egyptian assignment for the lotus is 1000. It is notable that in the Indian Kundalini yoga system, the lotus is the symbol of the 7th energy consciousness center, which is our crown chakra. And it is said to have 1000 petals. The 1000 petals symbolize the countless number of subtle channels which connect the human being with the universe. The circular shape of the lotus leaves and the seed also denotes the ideas of eternity, infinity, and immortality that is our inner godly nature. So you see, the whole concept of the lotus is about taking that darkness, or going into that darkness, making sense of it, and emerging into the light. Like I stated before, this stuff is real, y'all. I ain't just make this up, I ain't make it up. So now for our practical applications, I want to start making it a habit of giving you tools to apply these concepts, right? Because to possess the knowledge is one thing, but you have to be able to apply that knowledge in your daily life in order to produce evidence that you are growing, produce evidence that you are on the right track and you are in alignment with your purpose and connected intuitively to your higher self, right? And so the practical application that we're going to look at today, that I'm going to suggest to you, is the concept of being impeccable with your words, right? And so this concept comes from this book, which is called The Fifth Agreement, by Don Miguel Ruiz and Don Jose Ruiz. All right, this is a Totic wisdom book. And even though it's Totic in nature, we all know, anybody who is spiritual knows that all forms of spirituality are connected, right? So we have this grand energy that is able to articulate itself in different cultures, different colors, different languages, different frequencies, different shapes, right? And so that is what we're getting here. We're just getting another shape of the same concept that directly connects to our Kemetic studies, right? So remember I told you that Muata and Tehuti are the male and feminine principles of truth, speaking our truth, having that truth written down, and processing that truth mentally. Well, let's look at what Don Miguel Ruiz and Jose Ruiz have to say about this concept of our truth and our words, how our words create our truth. All right, so here it says, I want to start. I'm starting on page 28 from the second paragraph, and it says, humans are born with the power of creation, and we are constantly creating stories with the words that we learned. Every one of us uses the word to form our opinions, to express our point of view. Countless events are happening all around us, and using the attention, we have the capacity to pull all these events together in a story, right? We create the story of our own life, the story of our family, the story of our community, the story of our country, the story of our humanity, the story of our entire world. Every one of us has a story that we share, a message that we deliver to ourselves and to everyone and everything around us. You were programmed to deliver a message, and the creation of that message is your greatest art. What is the message? Your life. With that message, you create mainly the story of you, then a story about everything you perceive. The story of you is everything you know about you. And when I say this, I'm talking to you, knowledge, what you believe you are, not to you, the human, what you really are. As you can see, I make a distinction between you and you because one of you is real and one of you is not real. You is the physical human, are real. You are the truth. You, knowledge, you're not real. You're virtual. You only exist because of the agreements you made with yourself and with other humans around you. You, knowledge, come from the symbols you hear in your head and from all of the opinions of the people you love, the people you don't love, the people you know, and mostly the people you will never know. Your mind is full of knowledge, but how are you using that knowledge? How are you using the word when it comes to describing yourself? You look at yourself in a mirror. Do you like what you see, or do you judge your body and use all those symbols to tell yourself lies? You see, the problem is not really knowledge. The problem is believing in a distortion of the knowledge, all right? So before we can even begin to speak our truth, we have to have a balanced perception of the knowledge that we possess and create a story that accurately articulates that knowledge, right? In order to create the proper story for ourselves. So now we're getting into the first agreement. So it says, be impeccable with your word. This brings us to the first and most important of the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Your word is power of creation, and that power can be used in more than one direction. One direction is impeccability, where the word creates a beautiful story, your personal heaven on earth. The other direction is misuse of the word, where the word destroys everything around you and creates your personal hell. The word, as a symbol, has the magic and power of creation because it can reproduce an image, an idea, a feeling, or an entire story in your imagination. Just hearing the word horse can reproduce an entire image in your mind. That's the power of a symbol. But it can even be more powerful than that. Just by saying 2 words, The Godfather, a whole movie can appear in your mind. This is your magic, your power of creation, and it begins with the word. All right. So in order to develop your truth, it is interconnected with your thoughts, your emotions, and all of these different things. And so that's why we focus on the throat chakra, and this is how we focus on the throat chakra. So we do our yoga practice to open up that throat chakra, get the blood flowing there, get open up our shoulders and our chest, and allow that life force energy to cycle through us from the crown chakra all the way down back up to this area, so that we are keenly aware of how we feel, how we think, what we want to say, and how we choose to say it, right? So clear with the intention behind our words that we are constantly monitoring that and making sure that we are speaking more light and life out of our mouths than death. All right. So we've already smudged the space today with our, I use some white sage just to clear the space. I have my tourmaline today just to keep me grounded. I haven't, I've been struggling to stay grounded. But some other crystals that you can use for the throat chakra would be like aquamarine and a few others I will put down in the caption as a suggestion. I am happy to announce that I do not have a throat chakra candle today because they sold out, y'all. Yes. So instead of the throat chakra candle, we are going to go with the throat chakra whipped body butter. It is new and improved. It has the coloring of the throat chakra, and it has essential oils, especially and specifically designed to balance our throat chakra, open it up, and give us the words to speak our truth from a balanced space that is not tarnished with the lies and the stories that other people would want to impose upon us, tell us who we are, who we're not, who we should be, right? We're going to cleanse ourselves of all of those untruths today as we get into our yoga practice. All right, so I am done with my introduction. As we get into the actual yoga practice, you will not hear me talking per se live as I'm doing these particular poses, because when we are focusing on the throat chakra, I don't want to constrict my throat or struggle as I'm trying to open it up. That's going to kind of like interfere with the energy. So I'm just going to do a voiceover as I do the poses. So let's go ahead without further ado and let's get into the opening of our meditation and yoga practice for today. So go ahead and begin to think about your intentions for your throat chakra. What areas of your life does truth seem to be escaping you? How do you want to articulate your truth, and how do you want to work with the throat chakra energy for today? So think about that. Get clear on those intentions, and as you're contemplating your intention for your throat chakra practice today, we are going to get into the mudra and the mantra meditation that opens and closes our practice. All right, so the mudra, of course, for the throat chakra requires you to take your hands. You're going to spread your fingers apart. You're going to interlock them upward like so, with your fingers on the inside of your palms. Then you're going to circle around, bringing your thumbs up above and that interlocking, and connect them like so. And then you're going to form this mudra over your chest in the throat chakra area. All right. And as we get into our practice for today, we are going to recite the mantra Hum. All right. So the same way that we have recited our mantras on the other videos, we're going to do the same thing today, but it is Hum. So I'll do it once to demonstrate to you how it is to be done, and then you will join in with me on the second through fourth times that we do it together. And it doesn't matter where you join in, just join in and go along with the flow, and just follow your breath. If you find that you can't hold it as long as I'm holding it, or if you find you hold it a little bit longer than me, that is okay. Just follow the pattern of your breathing that is comfortable for you, and join me as you are able to do so comfortably. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. The first time is demonstration, so I'm taking a deep breath in. Now you join in with me. All right, now begins our sun salutation. So we start upward and go down into a forward fold, taking it out into a plank, and moving forward into an upward facing dog. If you need to modify, you can put your legs on the floor as I have done. And make sure that you're taking a moment to breathe in and out before moving to the next pose. Here you see the downward facing dog. And as you notice, I am stretching out my legs to maximize that pose. And then I step forward into a forward fold, back up toward the sky, come right back down into a forward fold, going through the motions again to upward facing dog, back to downward facing dog, stretching and breathing as needed, stepping forward, stretching upward and breathing in, exhaling and coming down. Did a little halfway lift there. taking a moment to pace myself and going back into the plank, forward into the upward facing dog, and back into the downward facing dog. Stepping forward once again, coming up, breathing in, coming down, breathing out, halfway lift, down to the floor, into a plank, upward facing dog, into downward facing dog, stepping forward into a forward fold, and back up. Now we're transitioning. So I begin with the upward stretch into a forward fold, which is going to take me down to the ground. I'm just standing here for a moment and allowing my halfway lift to stretch out the hamstrings before I step back into my plank and come to all fours. From the all fours, we're going to transition into the child's pose with the feet touching, knees at the edges of the mat, and making sure that your chin is actually being stretched out. Notice how I put my chin on the mat to demonstrate for you and reach my arms forward. And you're going to take some deep breaths from this position. Breathing inward and outward through your nose. Making sure that that breath makes its way down all the way to your root chakra before coming back up to exhale. So we're transitioning into another stretch. Which also helps to stretch out the throat chakra. And you're going to cycle through your breaths in the same way as you did with the child's pose. Notice how my chest is moving, my chest and stomach transitioning now. We're coming to all fours to go into our cat and cows. When you arch your back and lift up, you'll breathe in. When you round your back out, you'll breathe out. So up and in, round and out. Up and in, round and out. Up and in, round and out. Transitioning into our heart pose, which still requires you to kind of maintain the position you see here with your back arched. You're going to take your toes upward and you're going to stretch your chin out in front of you the way you see, allowing the ground to stretch the throat chakra area. Once you find your pose, you're going to breathe in and out before you transition. I'm just taking a short breather before I transition into my modified locust pose. So as you can see here, my arms are flat on the ground, providing the balance that I need. And then one knee rests comfortably on the ground, and the other knee is stacked on top of the foot. Now I'm switching. Same concept. And you're making sure to breathe in and out at least twice, maybe even 3 times before transitioning. Now I'm taking it into an extended locust. Where the stretch reaches up through the sides of my body. Stretching out that solar plexus and hip area. Now we're transitioning into our dragon's pose, which basically requires you to cross your feet like so and lean forward, making sure that your back is straight. Yes, you have to stick your tongue out, and you will breathe in and out. In through the nose and blow out through the mouth, activating that solar plexus and connecting those energetic centers with that of the throat chakra. Now we are transitioning into a supported fish pose. So of course you'll lay on your back. Place your hands at the bottom of your spine like so. Arch your back. Bring your shoulders up. Place your head to the floor. And then your legs will go into a butterfly position with your feet touching. Once you reach a comfortable position, go ahead and begin your inhalations and exhalations. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Transitioning smoothly out of that position. As you can see, I'm a little tired. And now we're going to go into our plow position. Supported shoulder stand first, and then take the legs back. If your legs can go back further than mine, then by all means do so. Hold this position and begin your inhalations and exhalations as needed. If you need to adjust the placement of your legs, as you see me doing here, do so carefully, making sure to support your hips and continue your breathing. Do not move your head. Do not move your neck. This stretch helps to stretch out the entire back, all the way up to the neck, allowing that life force energy to flow through all energy centers. Since we are on our back, we are going to transition right into a reverse plank. So you would simply position yourself as you see I have done here. You want to push up on the heels of your feet, forming a plank with your shoulders and relaxing your neck backward. Do not strain your neck. When you come out of it, make sure you're exhaling. I had to take a rest, so I went into a forward stretch. You can do the same, being sure to inhale and exhale as needed. Now we're transitioning into our open throat pose. As you see here, I'm just leaning back on my knees, and I'll take my hands and clasp them together to make a fist, and just use them to push my throat, my chin back, stretching out my throat, being sure to keep my elbows at a 90-degree angle, inhaling and exhaling through the stretch, exhaling as I come out of the stretch and rise up on my knees to transition into the camel pose. Make sure that you are finding the position that is most comfortable for you. Some people are more advanced and can grab the ankles. I am only able to clasp my hands at my thighs, and from here, we shall inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. If you feel yourself being able to stretch a little bit more, then do so. As you come out of the stretch, you should be exhaling and just lean forward. As you see, I've done here, taking a rest with all that blood and life force flowing through you. You can get a rush to your head. And so I'm taking a moment to center myself here, and you can do the same thing at any point in the exercise if you feel the need to do so. So now that I've taken a few breaths, I'm preparing myself to go into the next pose, which is the extended tiptoe pose. So here in a few seconds, after I come out of my mini meditation, you will notice that I begin to rise up on my knees. I'm going to stretch my arms upward, and I'm going to lean back on my feet, locking my hands, twisting my arms and locking my hands, then clasping them together to create a tight stretch upward. Inhaling and exhaling as needed. Exhaling as I come out. I'm just going to come to the front and do the same thing, but I want to take it behind my neck this time to open up the chest. Same concept. And I'm still breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Stretching wherever I feel the need to do so in order to open up those shoulders and chest. Transitioning nicely into a nice shoulder stretch from the elbows on each side. Continuing to breathe as needed. Stretching out both sides. Taking it back one more time. I needed this stretch. All right, now we are transitioning back into the wheel. So you'll put your feet flat on the ground, hands flat on the ground behind you like so, and push upward. Once you find your comfortable position, hold it and breathe in and out. If you need to breathe through your mouth because that's more comfortable, feel free to do so. It's a difficult position. As you can see, I take it down and rest my head on the ground for a few breaths, and I ease on out of that position. It takes a lot out of you. So yes, I'm taking another break. This throat chakra workout is a doozy, man. But it is much needed, much needed. All right. So now we are going to take another transition. All right. We are now transitioning into our rounded eagle pose. And as you can see, I have my right foot planted firmly on the ground, toes spread. I am crossing my left ankle over my right knee, crossing my left arm on top of my right arm, connecting my fingers, and then slowly bending my knees. Slowly bending my knees, making sure to keep my back straight. And once I get a comfortable position there, I'm taking it forward, rounding out my back until I find a comfortable position that I can hold. Then I'll take my breaths and out, in and out, breathing out as I slowly come back upward and then release my leg. Switching now to the other side. So we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, cross the right arm over the left arm, connect those fingers and ease our way down, keeping our back straight, and then leaning forward slowly, rounding out our backs to form a rounded eagle on our left leg. Notice the shaking. This one does require some balance. Make sure that your toes are spread out and firmly planted. Make sure you're also breathing. I felt the need to hold this one a little bit longer just because I was shaking so much. I tried to find a comfortable position, and so I brought my back up just a tad to be able to hold the position, and then came out, making sure that I am exhaling as I come back up and release my legs. As you can see here, I am stretching upward, going into a forward fold. Then I'm going to walk it forward in order to position myself for the next position. So I'll take a downward facing dog into all fours. Transitioning to a flat position on my stomach. Keeping my legs straight, stretching my arms backward to my sides, face flat. And now I am pulling my shoulders back, pulling my feet and thighs toward my shoulders, and breathing in the locust pose. As you can see, I took 3 good deep breaths and exhale out as I came down, resting for a moment and preparing myself for the next pose, which will require us to bring our feet backward, gripping our ankles or our feet wherever's most comfortable, getting a good grip, straightening out those arms. And then when you're ready, you'll inhale up, stretch those legs up, pulling the arms, breathing in and out like so, and release and breathe out as you come down. And so you can take a few seconds here to breathe once again, because all of these poses that we're doing cause the blood and oxygen to rush through your body. So I had to take a moment and go into a downward facing dog. As you can see, I took that my right leg up, flipped it over and back to form what is called the wild child position. Notice how my arm is shaking a bit. You want to avoid that shaking by making sure that your shoulder is not stacked on top of your elbow. I should have extended a little bit more. And so I made sure to exhale out as I was coming back down, going into child's pose, to give myself a rest before attempting the position again. Had to fix my scar. I felt it falling. All right, so we're going back into downward facing dog. And this time we're going to lift the left leg, bring it over and back. And from this position, you can see my elbow is not as stacked as before, but I'm still shaking. This is a new position for me. This is actually the first time that I've attempted that position. So I'm going to go in and try it one more time. And as you can see, I get a lot more stable when I extend my shoulder away from my elbow. Much better execution of that pose that time. Back into downward facing dog. And now I'm attempting an advanced wild child. That was a variation of the wild child. And as you can see, that took me on out of there. Yeah, that one took me on out of there. I had to stop. All right, I have now composed myself and fixed my scarf to the best of my ability after such an exhausting yoga pose. So now we're transitioning into our meditative pose. I'm so out of it, I can't even open my eyes at the moment, but you want to go ahead and find a comfortable position and close your eyes. Begin breathing in and out as needed. Transition back into our mudra, connecting your fingers as demonstrated in the video. Bringing your thumbs together. Placing that mudra over your chest. You can even place it over your stomach if that is more comfortable. And now we shall begin reciting. Releasing out into a comfortable meditative position, allowing yourself to sink into the floor, enjoying the relaxation, safety, and release of tension from your body, following your breath as needed, in and out. Just allow yourself to sink into it and meditate. Asking yourself, what is my truth? What does it mean to be impeccable with my words? Then affirm that you speak your truth freely. Affirm that you are able to bring your ideas into reality with the impeccable use of your words. You are not afraid of your truth. We embrace our truth. We express our truth clearly, concisely, articulately, and make ourselves clear. Come to, open your eyes, and namaste. So I had to bring you a sneak peek of our Sekehm tank top and yoga pants, now available at www.mazegarden.com. Just click on the Lotus collection and you can go ahead and order your African Center yoga gear now. Support Black-owned businesses. Yes. If you enjoyed this yoga video and you're into Kemetic practices and want to learn more about Kemetic spirituality, if you're interested in the Tarot, if you're interested in promoting your small business, or just having a safe space to talk about mental health care issues, and you're a Black woman from any aspect of the African diaspora, you are welcome in our Facebook group. Go and find us on Facebook. It's called the Lotus Room. We look forward to seeing you there, and we have activities for each day of the week. Please do yourself a favor. Go ahead and join that group now. And last but not least, go follow the Carrie Mae Williams Center on all social media platforms. Our Instagram name is posted on the screen for you, and you can just search the Carrie Mae Williams Center for Facebook and Twitter.